All right, let's talk about milk. For basically our entire lives, we've heard it's nature's perfect food, right? The cornerstone of good health. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the marketing and the actual science are two totally different things? We're going to dig in and see what's really going on.
So, get ready, because this isn't going to be one of those passive, just sit and listen type of things. Nope. I want you to play along with me. Test what you think you know. And trust me, you might be in for a few surprises.
Okay, first question, right out of the gate. Pretty simple one. Think about the entire world, every adult on the planet. What percentage of them are actually lactose intolerant? So what do you think? Is it a relatively small number, like 20%? Maybe closer to half, at 40%? Or is it a huge majority, like 65%? Take a guess, lock it in your red. And the answer is a whopping 65%. If you pick that, you got it. Think about that for a second. That's nearly 2 out of every 3 adults on Earth. It kind of flips the script, right? Being able to drink milk without any issues as an adult, that's actually the weird thing, not the other way around. All right, let's tackle the big one. The idea that's been drilled into us since we were kids. Milk builds strong bones. I mean, it makes sense on the surface, doesn't it? Milk has calcium. Calcium is good for bones. End of story. But is it really that simple? This is where it gets really counterintuitive. The common belief, the one we all know, is that more milk equals stronger bones, so fewer fractures. But a really big study out of Sweden turned that whole idea on its head. It suggested that women who drank the most milk actually had a higher risk of bone fractures. I know, right? How is that even possible? Well, one of the leading theories has to do with something called the acid load. Here's how it might work. When your body digests dairy, it creates a tiny bit of acid. Now, your body is obsessed with staying balanced. It hates being acidic. So to neutralize that acid, it needs something alkaline. And guess what the biggest alkaline reserve in your body is? The calcium in your bones. So the theory goes that your body actually pulls calcium out of your bones to deal with the dairy. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Okay, so with that in mind, let's do a little thought experiment. If the old milk builds strong bones idea were true, you'd expect the countries that drink the most milk to have the lowest rates of bone fractures, right? And countries that barely drink any would have the highest. Makes sense. But is that what we actually see? Well, check this out. It's a total paradox. The countries with the absolute highest rates of osteoporosis and bone fractures, places like the US, Sweden, the UK, are also some of the biggest dairy consumers on the planet. It's a really strange correlation that just doesn't line up with the marketing slogans. So, right about now, you might be thinking, okay, but I don't drink glasses of milk all day, so I'm good. Fair enough. But here's the thing. Dairy is a master of disguise. It's hiding in all sorts of foods where you'd never think to look. And the culprits are usually 2 sneaky milk proteins, casein and whey. You'll see them on ingredient lists all the time. They're added to things to make them creamier or to bind them together. We're talking about stuff like salad dressings, those cheesy flavored potato chips, a ton of protein powders, chocolate bars, even canned soups. You could be eating dairy all day long without ever pouring a glass of milk. And for a lot of people, all that hidden dairy can lead to low-grade, chronic inflammation. And look, we're not talking about some huge, dramatic allergic reaction. It's more like those nagging little things. You know, skin that's always breaking out, or that stuffy nose that never seems to go away, or feeling kind of icky and stiff in your joints for no good reason. So, real quick, just do a mental check of your day so far. Did you have milk in your coffee, or cereal, cheese on a sandwich, a yogurt, maybe some ice cream? Just get a rough number in your head. 1, 2, 3 servings? Hold on to that number. Because here's another piece of the puzzle. Dairy naturally contains a growth hormone called IGF-1. I mean, its whole purpose is to make a tiny calf grow into a huge cow as fast as possible. So that makes sense. It's rocket fuel for growth. But what happens when we, as fully grown adults, are constantly consuming it? Well, some studies suggest that keeping our IGF-1 levels high might not be a great idea, because it can promote the growth of all cells, not just the ones we want. Look, we can talk about studies and statistics all day, and they're important. But at the end of the day, the #1 expert on your health is you. Your body is constantly sending you feedback, giving you little signals. We just have to get better at actually listening to them. So let's do a quick personal symptom check right now. Do you get bloated a lot? How about cramps? Ever have those weird waves of fatigue in the afternoon where you just feel wiped out? Or what about your skin? Any random flare-ups? Just think, Could any of that be connected to when you eat dairy? Honestly, there is one single best way to figure this out for yourself. It's to run a little experiment, to become a scientist of your own body. And the test is super simple, a 1-week dairy-free challenge. It's the ultimate way to get a clear answer. It's so easy. For just 7 days, you cut out all dairy. And yeah, that means becoming a bit of a label detective to find those hidden sources. You can swap in things like oat milk or almond milk, no problem. And then just pay attention. Jot down a quick note each day. How's my energy, my digestion, my skin? That's it. At the end of the week, you'll know. You'll have your own personal data. Now, I know the first thing everyone asks is, but where will I get my calcium? Totally fair question. But here's the cool part. Dairy doesn't own the patent on calcium. Not even close. You can get tons of it from plants like kale, almonds, sesame seeds. And get this, the calcium from these plant sources is often more absorbable, meaning your body can actually use it more efficiently. And that's really what this all boils down to, isn't it? We are bombarded with commercials and slogans and marketing. But marketing isn't biology. The most powerful, most accurate, most reliable test you will ever find is your own personal experience. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Are the food choices you make every day, especially the ones you don't even think about, really based on what your body is telling you? Or are they just an echo of a marketing campaign from decades ago? That's a powerful question, and only you have the answer. Thanks for digging into this with me.